you can give our viewers an overview of what the AC-130 was. I'm guessing A stands for attack. Am I correct there? Or?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The A and AC-130. So A would be attack and C would be cargo. And what the Air Force did, back in Vietnam, what was cool about the H model gunship was, I get to fly on the same gunships that were in Vietnam, like, tail number 6972, call signs like Gravedigger, Wicked Wanda. And, what the Air Force did was they took this cargo plane and they put, basically the 40 mil was a Navy anti-aircraft, weapon. And we hung it on the side of the gunship. And then also the 105 howitzer, like if you put a tank on the side of a cargo plane, man, and you're doing what we call a pylon turn. And, there's some benefits to that. There's a lot of loader time. We can stay overhead the operation a long time. And the whole mission behind that, the gunship, it would be to, provide that, timely, precise, close air support for those unconventional forces. So, your SEALs, your Green Berets, etc.
So how many crews were like generally on an AC-130? Was it like a standout, I don't know, let's just say 8 people, or could you mix and match all for different missions?
Yeah. So back then we had 13 crew members, and then nowadays you're looking at about 7. On the AC-130J, the Ghost Rider. And it's what's cool about it though is it's all crew resource management, all the communications, and back then it was an awesome sight to see. You see 13 people working together in this sort of organized chaos fashion, to get those rounds out. And we would get up to 10 rounds per minute with a 105. It doesn't sound a lot, but if you could imagine being on the other end of basically a tank shooting at you 10 rounds per minute from the air, right? Like, it was an awesome sight to see. So a lot of crew coordination, and there's 4 gunners usually operating the 105 when we're getting that many rounds out.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, did you always, before you went to Afghanistan, would you stick with one crew or would you mix and match all the time?
So we would mix and match up until at least in my experience, the deployment part. And then once you got deployed, that was what you call your hard crew, and, a lot of that's like, there's so many hours you can get within a certain time frame. I think it was like 330 hours within 90 days. And then it was really hard to get that waiver because they have to sit you down if you hit that 330 mark. But yeah, so basically everybody had the same hours, and then you would have a planning cycle. Like, back then we'd fly 3 weeks, and then you'd have a week of planning, which means pre-flights, weight and balance, hold, things like that. Have the aircraft ready to go in case of like an alert type, troops in contact situation.
I'm going to jump forward because we did get like a viewer question here. What was it like firing the gun for the first time? And I'm guessing it was probably in training. What was that like?
Yeah, I actually put that exact moment in the book there. We went to well, first of all, let me paint a picture here. So my first flight, man, on the AC-130 was so bad to where like the instructor said something to the effect of like, man, you're the reason they have to brief seatbelts on airliners. Like it went that bad. And he and he basically he's like, he saw me licking my wounds or whatnot. My head was spinning. I was trying to figure out life at that point, and all these different comms going off, stuff like that. And he's like, he's like, what's the most important word in the dictionary? I was like, man, I don't know, And he's like, perseverance. And he's like, I want you to think about that, before your next flight, and be ready to go and let me know what it means and be ready to perform next flight. And sure enough, man, next flight, we got to go do the live fire here at Jockey and Spirit Range near Melrose Range and near Cannon Air Force Base. And, this moment where the pilot, whips that perfect, 3-mile orbit around the target, and, he's getting on the rate and coincidence. And then that 105, when you see it recoil up to 49 inches and the whole plane shifts a little bit, like,
Oh, really?
I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, man.